feel like I'm a new face to the community, so I'll just kind of give a little bit of background about myself before I talk about the piece next to me. So I'll speak up. My name is Madeline Bartley. I also go by Maddie. I'm originally from Kentucky, and I came up to New York for grad school. And I attended Syracuse University for studies in printmaking and studio arts. I lived in Syracuse for 7 years, and then I moved here to Buffalo in 2020. So my arrival in Buffalo was a bit quiet, kind of uncertain, a little uneasy. I did not have closure with saying goodbye to Syracuse, so it's kind of always been like a little bit of a, I don't know, it's a little bit of a solemn, I guess, arrival, but I've come out and emerged through Buffalo and through its art community, and I'm very happy to be a part of this community. I was very astonished by the talent that's here. So I am now a studio artist at the Buffalo Art Studio, where I continue my practice. And in my work, I do 3 things mostly. I do printmaking, drawing, and then I also work in fiber. So I teach mixed media through the Buffalo Art Studio. I do printmaking with red disc, making wallpaper, and then I make sew drawings and stuff to kind of keep melding and blending things together. So that's my practice. That's kind of how I arrived here. Very delighted to be here. And this is my piece, Houseplant Energy. I would say it kind of also, through my explanation of how I got here, I feel like it carries along in the span of time of where I came from and where I'm at now. So it's a monotype, it's collage, it's a watercolor, it's an experiment, basically. I created this monotype when I was in grad school at Syracuse, and was really kind of uncertain what I was doing. So a lot of things get kind of put away in drawers, then gets moved around from studio space to studio space until it arrived here, where I've kind of gone through my past work and arrived at with here's my new view, my new experiences, and my new skill set with it, and kind of use them as stepping stones to further my work and just keep reflecting as I keep making. So a lot of my themes in my work have to do with plants. I have worked as a perennial gardening assistant for a couple years, and I think that was probably one of my favorite jobs. So plants, as well as just kind of more dreamlike vibes, are kind of visually how my work kind of looks and appears. So yeah, it just kind of started as a monoprint, tried out okay, I have some scrap paper, what happens when I glue this down? All right, that's the thing. And then you know, your studio mate gives you hey, I got some paint that didn't quite work out, I'll give it a try and I'll experiment with it. So it's a piece that really does represent just kind of a experimental process where I keep just what's around me nearby, what do I have already that I don't need to think too hard about, it's just there. And then through my mixed media demoing class, I just kind of pulled it back out and was here's an example of something that you could just keep playing with, even though you feel I don't really feel pleased with it. So the final piece was this kind of organic looking box plant that landed on top. And it's just something cut really quick for a demo and then placed on top, just to give you a little bit of an explanation of spur of the moment, this is how this kind of came together. But I really kind of like how this, both this range of colors, kind of muted, murky quality comes out of it, but also in talking about it, there is such a beauty in the passage of time that I've gotten to experience with this and carry along with me. So I work a lot on paper. This is, I think, also a Reeves BFK. Yeah. I think that's all I really have to say. Yeah.
So did the white come before the color? Or the white after?
The white came after the color.
After.
So yeah, the plant on there is the most current to date, kind of landing on the piece. Yeah.
Do you feel that you're finished with it? You keep saying that you come back to it, and is it something that you would take out of the frame and maybe keep working on?
I think that's always a good question, because I think that I would, I wouldn't like put it past me if I just did pull it back out and be like, oh, I think I want to add a new layer, or maybe I'll tear it up and then add it into something else.
Okay.
So that's kind of been, I don't know, as a printmaker, you wind up with so much paper, and I'm not in the process of making editions so much anymore. I'm really like kind of just like taking the scraps, the remnants, the remains of like leftover work, and just trying to like revitalize it, reuse it, and keep it going, just because there is so much I've carried coming from Kentucky to Syracuse to Buffalo. So it's just like I have all the material I could ever want. I just need to like I don't know, like I like this like reflection and then revitalization that goes into my work.
What influences your decision to add needlework or stitching in it or not?
This isn't a great example of it, but you've seen my other work. A lot of the thread and stitching work kind of becomes like a new, like, a lot of it's referenced from an image that's kind of like, it's realistic. It's something that's familiar. It's kind of the imagery that area portrays. So a lot of my work is very abstract, and then I'll land with a very like, oh, I can see there's architecture on here, or like I've done gardening tools, for example, and it's very like realistically illustrated, but with thread and fiber. So it's just kind of giving the viewer, I think, something realistic to land on and connect with, versus like I think in my past I've always just been in this like unknown, unsettled, always shifting, churning, like kind of naturey, but just kind of like a weird mental dream space, is kind of, for lack of better words, where some of the other elements of my work kind of exist. Oh, I think that's the video.
It is.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you, madam.
Thank you very much.